2026 is bound to be a milestone year in global history, and the most important transit, the one that will set the tone for the entire year, happens on February 20th when Saturn, the taskmaster of the zodiac, the planet associated with hard work, karma, and restrictions, meets up exactly with Neptune, the planet of your dreams, your visions, divine love, and your soul's deepest longing. Saturn and Neptune will make an exact conjunction at 0 degrees in the bold, courageous, I don't want to wait, fire sign of Aries. So my friend, I am very excited to share with you in part 1 of this video the themes that we can expect to play out with Saturn and Neptune coming together at the 0 point of Aries, tips for navigating these energies, and who will most feel Saturn and Neptune in Aries during the year of 2026. And in part 2, I will share with you where the Saturn-Neptune conjunction is happening in your natal astrology chart and how you might experience it on a personal level. Based on your rising sign, watch for your sun and moon signs as well, because they will give you additional themes and intuitive messages that are likely to be relevant for you. And I will pull an oracle card for each of the signs as well. So before I go deeper, I want to extend a warm welcome. If you are brand new to the channel, I am so glad that you have found us. This is a like-minded community. It is always my intention to empower and inspire you through Western tropical astrology. If you're on a spiritual path, an ascension journey, or you just love astrology, you are in the right place. Take a moment right now to tap the subscribe button so you don't miss a video. Welcome back to all of you lovely people who've been watching, who have subscribed to the channel. I'm so glad you're here. And if we're just meeting, I'm Betsy. I'm a psychic astrologer, intuitive life coach, and it is also my passion and dedication to meet you on Zoom for live one-on-one astrology readings. If you could use some extra support right now, or you want to know what your 2025 year ahead has in store for you, stay tuned till the end of the video. I'll tell you more about my offerings, and I have a free gift for you. I'll tell you how you can get that free gift at the end. And if you'd like to get my weekly inspirational astrology updates, go to my website, subscribe for free to those updates, and you will get your free instant download gift at the same time. We astrologers have learned that the years that make world history are the ones in which the outer planets come together in a configuration that we call a conjunction. And these significant alignments make waves, send ripples out through the planet, marking events that become etched in our history. So I want to share with you the dates first. Saturn's transit of Aries began May of 2025 and it goes until April of 2028. Neptune in Aries began March of 2025 and it will go until March of 2039. Neptune is a 165-year cycle, meaning that Neptune will not be back in the sign of Aries again for another 165 years. The last time that Neptune was in Aries was 1861 to 1874. And during this time, we had the American Civil War, slavery was abolished, and we also had the birth of the Impressionist art movement. Now, Saturn and Neptune both made their debut in Aries briefly in 2025, and they were almost conjunct. They came very close at 1 degree in July, but this was not an exact conjunction. Come January 26th of 2026, Neptune will re-enter Aries to stay. Then on February 14th, Saturn will join Neptune in Aries, and on February 20th, this is when they will make their exact conjunction at 0 degrees, 45 minutes. And I will share more on the significance of this 0 point of Aries later in the video. But what's important to know is that as far as our astrology software will take us back, this conjunction at the 0 point of Aries has never before happened in our human history. So to interpret this transit as best we can, we want to look at the planets and how they may act in the sign of Aries, especially when they come together and merge their energies. Saturn rules reality as we know it or experience it on this earthly plane. But we also know that reality is a matter of perception. It's different for all of us. Just ask 2 or 3 children from the same family what their parents were like, how their upbringing affected them, and you will likely get different answers from each child about the kind of childhood they had. But the themes of Saturn that most of us have experienced when we've had Saturn transits to our natal astrology chart include a period of hard work, perseverance, nose to the grindstone, going step by step by step, building a solid, sustainable foundation underneath whatever is most important to you for the long term. Saturn rules limits, restrictions. It tends to delay the outcome that we want to see. Boundaries, accountability, karma, and fate. And wherever you have Saturn, my friend, in your natal astrology chart is where you are meant to do the most work, inner work and outer work in this lifetime. That is, if you want to reap the rewards or goals that you have for that particular area of your life. And wherever you have Saturn in your chart, it could take longer for you to see the fruits of your labor than it would if you didn't have that particular Saturn placement. Now, in contrast with Saturn, Neptune rules the imagination, your vision, your dreams. It is not of this world, Neptune. Neptune is the ephemeral, what we cannot touch and see. It is boundaryless. It is the ethereal realms. And because of Neptune's ephemeral nature, it is connected to fantasy. It is connected to the arts. Also, your divine connection, unconditional love, compassion for yourself, compassion for others. Infinite possibility, and your dreams, your nighttime dreams, as well as your ability to co-create through visioning, through feeling yourself in the vortex, as we say, acting as if, your ability to bring that vision down from the heavens into this physical world. Now, wherever you have Neptune in your natal astrology chart, this can be where you have a heart's deep longing, a soul's longing, and it could feel like something that escapes you. Because Neptune also rules the ideal, and this earthly plane rarely matches anything close to perfection, you could also experience or have experienced disappointment or disillusionment around your Neptunian soul's longing. We also say in astrology that Neptune dissolves. If something is no longer in alignment with our soul's path, it can wash away in the Neptune waters. It can leave our lives without warning, often bringing confusion, self-doubt, and sometimes deep pain and grief. So if Saturn is associated with restrictions and delays and hard work and karma, and Neptune is associated with the ideal and visions and fantasies and bringing our dreams into reality, you can see that these two coming together, joining up, they are going to bring very different energies. But we also want to remember that Saturn is known as the wise elder, the mentor, moral integrity, putting in the time to get to that enduring goal, being a marathon, not a sprint, that Saturn can help us bring that ideal vision of Neptune into reality. It can help us to make something real, especially if we are aligned with the higher will, the spiritual will of Neptune. So we are leaving Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, the very last sign of the zodiac, the sign that rules endings and releasing, letting go, surrendering to what we cannot control, letting the old wash away, releasing our past to the ocean, take it out, it's done, it's over. We are coming from that energy into Saturn and Neptune in Aries, the very first sign of the zodiac that rules new beginnings, fresh starts, and spring. Aries as a cardinal fire sign brings in a new season. And not only is this fresh new life bursting forward, it's also the sign of rebirth, renewal, allowing ourselves to begin again. In Aries energy, we are supported to be independent, to initiate what our heart most wants, to be bold, to take risks, to do our own thing if that's what we want. Aries is the sign of the entrepreneur. In Aries energy, we want freedom, we want adventure, and we're not afraid to lead or pioneer something. If that's what is calling us forward, Aries is the sign of callings. What do you feel called to do? What do you feel like you just have to say yes to? even if you have no idea how it's going to turn out, because that's Aries energy. Aries tends to take the leap knowing that the net will appear, act first, think later. And because Aries is connected to the first house, the house of our identity, where we say, I am, you fill in the blank, I am, we are often declaring a new identity. You may be reinventing yourself, or at the very least, you are ready, willing, gathering the courage to explore new territory. Aries wants to go beyond the limits it has encountered before, explore a new frontier from a place of passion and inspiration. In Aries energy, we have to feel inspired or we aren't going to take that leap. And it helps to know that during this Neptune and Saturn in Aries transit, you could feel quite self-focused. Other people could accuse you of being selfish even. In Aries energy, we are meant to focus on our drive, our mojo, our motivation. That's what's propelling us forward. So we want to remember that if others feel like we're leaving them behind as we travel forward on a new path, by design, we are meant to be led from within, so to speak. If you know the Fool card in the tarot, this is Aries energy. I don't know how I'm going to get to my goal. I don't know whether I can reach this, but I'm up for the challenge. I'm going to be the Fool. I'm going to put the knapsack on my back and I'm going to venture forward. The Fool says anything is possible, but I won't know unless I try. And I can't wait to tell the story of how I overcame adversity. The Aries archetype that we are all going to be experiencing, not only globally, but in our own lives, in our own astrology charts, it is the hero or heroine inside of each and every one of us that is called to rise to a challenge, to take that hero's journey, to move through those obstacles. And then when we get to the other side, then when we realize the reason that we went on that journey in the first place, once we have that realization, then we know we've satisfied the purpose that our soul intended in planting that call of the soul, that call toward adventure. Now, where we can get in trouble in Aries energy is when we move too fast, because Aries is the sprinter, it is the speed racer. In Aries energy, we often feel behind. We feel like I should have done that yesterday, and we want to excel. Sometimes the ego can snag us. We can feel less than. We can feel like we don't have what it takes, and so we can get competitive. We can feel like we have to be the best or one of the best to even be doing what we're doing, because in Aries energy, we want to be successful. We want to be victorious. And part of this is that Aries is ruled by the planet Mars. The planet Mars is our masculine energy, whether we're male or female, and it rules mojo, motivation, desire, passion. So it's not hard to see how this Aries energy ruled by Mars, it can get the best of us. We can act on impulse. Our lizard brain can be ignited into fight, flight, or freeze. And this is why Aries is associated with the warrior, conflict, anger, wars, and even violence. But if that's the lower octave of Aries, the higher octave of Aries is that we can do amazing feats, things that we never thought that we would be able to accomplish. We can move mountains and look back on what we've done and said, oh my gosh, I feel really proud of myself. I can't believe I did that. What a huge accomplishment. And in Aries energy, we love the potential challenge of that, the thought that maybe we can succeed at something that we don't even know if we're capable of. Now, Mars also rules the physical body. So we have Saturn and Neptune in Aries, a sign that is ruled by Mars, and Mars rules the physical body. More of us may experience this transit through our physicality, through our health possibly. Some of us will simply be motivated to work out more, get stronger, but also Aries, like all of the signs, rule specific parts of the body, and Aries rules the head, the face, and the brain. And secondarily, Aries rules the eyes, the adrenals, and our blood pressure. So adrenal fatigue, burnout are very real potentials. And I believe this transit is going to motivate many of us to do things like breath work, meditation, brisk walks in nature, whatever calms the mind and relaxes the physical body. Also, we want to be aware of something that my colleague Robert Holden calls dysfunctional independence, because in Aries energy, we think, I can do it myself. I don't need anyone else. Often we want to do it by ourselves because we don't want to wait for anyone else. But no person is an island, right? And doing something all by yourself can be isolating, it can be lonely, and it can be exhausting. So please, my friend, get support if and when you need it. Now, wherever you have 0 degrees of Aries in your natal chart where this conjunction is happening, you could be feeling a need to reset, to restart, or even reinvent that part of your life that is connected to that house. Because Aries energy moves so quickly, you could also feel like you're behind. You have to hurry up and fix something or heal something, or even that it's too late. And I want to say it's not too late. It's never too late to come back into wholeness, especially because wholeness is a state of mind. It's a state of being. And as an example, if you have any sort of physical distress or ailment during this transit, the body is inherently meant to self-heal. When we stop resisting whatever is happening that we wouldn't have ordered off the menu, we accept whatever is going on, that's when we can get back into flow. We can align with divine source and receive the resources, the information, and the support that we need to restore and renew our energy. So now I want to take the themes of Saturn and Neptune and how they act in Aries and imagine how they might work together during this conjunction. While Saturn is considered in its fall in Aries, and this is because Aries energy wants to move quickly, it doesn't want to wait, and Saturn slows things down. Saturn can cause delays. While this is true, I actually think that this is beneficial, especially if we are going through a major change, and globally we're all experiencing this change. Aries is a fire sign. Fires can rage. Wouldn't it be better if we could slow that process down? And while Saturn says we need to set boundaries here, Neptune, being boundaryless, can bring in confusion. It can bring in fog. And we all know, if we are here on the planet, you are listening to this video, we all know that uncertainty about this year, about our future, all the changes that we've already experienced in 2025, uncertainty is a strong theme. Most of us are feeling that quite intensely right now. Add to that the feeling that changes in the air, and that can bring in anxiety. And what do we do when we're in the energy of uncertainty and fog and confusion? If that's where we find ourselves, we have to let go and surrender. Neptune says, don't resist the flow of what's happening. Call on your spiritual source. Bring down the unconditional love of the divine. Surrender to spiritual or divine timing. See, Saturn rules timing, it's Chronos. Neptune rules divine love. Bringing these together, there is a higher call, a higher purpose, a wisdom to doing everything that you can possibly do on a human level that feels aligned with what your heart most wants, but then to lean into your soul, your spirit, your guardian angels, your spirit guides, whoever you work with in the divine realms, to allow them to support you. To not try and do it all by yourself, and to get support from people around you who have expertise and can soften anything that you're going through and help guide you as well. Now, I want to acknowledge that there's almost nothing more annoying or frustrating in Aries energy than the idea of it will happen in divine timing. It'll happen when it's meant to happen. If you've ever wanted to meet your soulmate, for example, if you've ever wanted a partner when you were single, if you have ever wanted your ideal job when you were unemployed, and someone told you it'll happen when you're ready, in Aries energy, we don't want to hear that. Aries wants to believe it is in charge, we are in control, we are the master of our own destiny. But I believe because of that, for some of us, this transit is going to move us, cause us, or force us to surrender and tap more deeply into our faith. If you are getting easy and flowing transits from Saturn and Neptune to your natal planets and points, this may feel like I am bringing my vision into reality and I'm making it happen, and it may seem like it happens almost effortlessly. But if you are getting one of the harder transits, and I'll tell you who is most going to feel this intensely in a bit, if you experience a loss that creates space for you to bring your new dream into reality, then you could experience this deeper process of moving more deeply into faith, more consciously co-creating what your heart desires, and allowing a grief process if that is what would be most healing for you. We do have to grieve our losses as humans. But in that process of grieving, we return to our soul, We return to the mystical, deep part of us that it's easy to get away from when we're just doing our life, right? And this transit could bring you into a much deeper relationship or partnership with your spirit. Aries energy being our identity on a personal level, Saturn could be restructuring your identity. It could be a remembering of your soul's plan, your purpose, what your soul planned for you to do, be, or have before you arrived here on the planet as a spiritual being to have your human adventure. And this could become a time when you go through a deep journey of self-discovery. Who am I now? What lights me up? What does my heart truly desire? And this is where I love the Howard Thurman quote, don't ask what the world needs, ask what brings you alive, because what the world needs is more people who have come alive. Keep in mind that Neptune is also connected to our health and to our immune system, and with Chiron in Aries, Chiron representing a core wound of abandonment, betrayal, or shame, where when we do healing on that core wound, our greatest wound becomes our greatest strength. Some of us could experience this as a healing crisis, but what I love about those words, healing crisis, is that the crisis itself moves us into a state of healing. And as we heal, we create a new foundation underneath ourselves, Saturn, and Saturn can help us rebuild, restructure after or as we are healing. I also think that Neptune in Aries is going to help us to tap into our hope and our courage and our optimism, to believe in ourselves, to build that confidence, that sense of I can do it, that can move us into the success or the victory that our heart truly desires. So who will most feel this transit of Saturn and Neptune coming together at the 0 point of Aries? The cardinal signs, Aries, Libra, Capricorn, or Cancer. You will most feel this if you have planets or points between 0 and 5 degrees of the cardinal signs, which is something, of course, that I can illuminate for you in an astrology reading. Saturn will transit between 0 and 14 degrees in 2026. So if you have planets or points in the cardinal signs between those degrees, you will also feel these energies more intensely this year. Now, Saturn and Neptune have never before in human history come together exactly at 0 degrees of Aries. So I'm going to talk about the 0 point in a moment, but the last time that Saturn and Neptune were exactly conjunct in another sign was when they came together in November of 1989 in Capricorn. They were conjunct at 11 degrees. And in that month of November 1989, the Berlin Wall came down. 2 years later, in 1991, the Soviet Union dissolved. Capricorn rules government structures and hierarchies in the way it's always been done. And because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn and Saturn's at play during this conjunction as well, the same theme could be one that we see happening again. Neptune dissolving boundaries or borders, the old rigid structures, Saturn, that no longer match the evolution of humanity and the moral integrity of our collective consciousness at this time. And in 1989, when the Berlin Wall came down, there was a new hope and optimism. There was a huge celebration. However, as elated as people were by this event, as time went on, cracks also appeared in the foundation of government structures and this dissolving of boundaries between countries. So fast forward to 2026, where we have Saturn and Neptune coming together in Aries at the 0 point. The 0 point is the very first degree of the zodiac. It marks the beginning of the astrological year, the vernal equinox. And so this idea of a brand new, fresh start, clean slate is woven into this historical conjunction. The 0 point of Aries represents the world axis point. It's connected to global leaders and leadership. And because it's 0, it's associated with anything can happen, anything is possible, pure potential. The beginning of a new world, the new human, the new earth. For some of us personally, individually, this is the beginning of a new life or a new life chapter. But many are also seeing this as a global reset. Now, because Aries is the warrior of the zodiac, and we have certainly seen devastating conflict and wars happen in 2025 when Saturn and Neptune first entered Aries, as well as the Civil War last time Neptune was in Aries. we want to remember that we are contributing to the collective consciousness. We are the co-creators not only of our individual reality, but we're also contributing to the collective dream or vision. And so the more that we can stay in the highest vibration of love and self-love and envision the kind of world that we want to live in, rather than giving our energy away to fear of the worst that could happen, the more that we can stay in our power and contribute to the best possible outcome or energetic flow of Saturn and Neptune in Aries. What's also interesting is that the day that the Saturn-Neptune conjunction happens on February 20th, the moon will also be in Aries, amplifying the Aries energy. And just 3 days before this conjunction, we are going to have a solar eclipse on February 17th, a solar eclipse in Aquarius at 28 degrees. It is a North Node eclipse. It is destiny driven, and I will do a separate video for you on this as I do for all the eclipses. It's a ring of fire annular eclipse, a new moon, a new vision, new beginning, but it squares wild card, unpredictable Uranus, which can bring shocking revelations, chaotic events, or enlightened aha moments that change our view, open up our perception, a breakdown that can lead to a breakthrough and a breaking free. This will very possibly bring a catalytic event that triggers a domino effect, as the eclipse is happening just 3 days before the actual Saturn-Neptune conjunction. And I am not making any predictions, but Uranus and Taurus is connected to the financial market, so I would be very surprised if we didn't have some sort of stock market correction or volatility at the very least around this time. But before we end part 1 of this video, I want to tell you support is also here. There are planets that are very much supporting Saturn and Neptune in Aries. Uranus, Pluto, and Neptune are all forming what is called a minor grand trine in astrology, but is not minor at all. It's being called the magic triangle. And basically what this is that Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are all harmoniously aligning, forming this magic triangle. From 2025 to 2028, they are going to harmonize at the same degree numerous times. This is an extremely rare configuration that is very positive. And the first time that this will happen is in mid-July of 2026, when Jupiter at 4 degrees of Leo, Uranus at 4 degrees of Gemini, Neptune at 4 degrees of Aries, and Pluto at 4 degrees of Aquarius will all be bringing potent energy at this 4-degree point that you will feel more personally if you have planets or points in the first decan of the air or fire signs. We are all going to be benefiting from this planetary alignment happening in mid-July. So my friend, I want to do the 12 sign readings, but I want to say in closing of this part 1, if you are experiencing anything challenging right now, or you feel anxiety or any sort of trepidation about this alignment and how it's going to affect us all globally, I want to share with you a quote, and this is by the poet Morgan Harper Nichols. You are brave for traveling through this. And then it says, it is so inspiring to see you overcoming, face forward, heart open, knowing this will not last forever. Whatever you might go through during this transit, my beautiful friend, it is a very important time of your soul's journey, and this will not last forever. Okay, my beautiful friend, let us do your 12 sign readings now. Listen to your rising sign. This is going to tell you in which area of your natal chart, corresponding to the area and themes of your life, you're going to be experiencing this Saturn-Neptune conjunction, Saturn and Neptune coming together in Aries, and the themes that it will bring up for you. You can also listen to your sun and moon signs for additional themes and intuitive messages that may very well be relevant for you. And we're going to start with Aries because beautiful Aries, Saturn and Neptune are coming together in your sign, and this is a really big deal for you. I hope that you watched part 1 of this video. If you didn't, please go back and watch it because I do a deep dive in what Saturn and Neptune coming together in Aries means and how can you best work with these energies. I give tips, I go over the themes. And so, definitely, Aries, this is all about you. You're going to want to go back to and watch part one. Now, by February 20th, when Saturn and Neptune in your sign come together at 0 degrees, they will both be here to stay for the length of their transits. So what does this mean for you, Aries? Aries, the first house is the house of you, your identity, the roles that you play, the titles that you have personally and professionally, the relationships that you're in, your relationship status, your vitality. The physical body is very much a part of our experience when we have a first house transit. At times, it can be a health issue that comes up. Not always, but it can. And then also your self-image, how you see yourself, how others see you, your appearance, your head, your face. Aries, do you know that your sign rules the head and the face? It rules the eyes, it rules the brain. And so whatever you do to calm your mind, whatever you do to relax, relaxation techniques, breath work, yoga, stretching, walking, working out, whatever you do for your physical body is very important all the time, but especially during this transit. Aries, in addition to your identity, you could be reinventing your identity. You could be starting a new role, either in a relationship, personally, or in a work role. But know that wherever Saturn and Neptune transiting your first house are activating other planets or points in your chart, it's your rising sign that's getting activated at some point during this transit, but also another planet or point could be getting activated by this transit, and then that house could come into play as well. So when we have a very important transit like the outer planets coming together in your first house, this means for you, at the very least, a new chapter. Now, whether you feel it or not this year will depend on the degree of your rising sign, and that's something that I can illuminate for you in an astrology consultation, of course. But like I said in the first part of the video, those of you who have planets or points between 0 and 4 degrees will definitely feel the Neptune transit sometime in 2026. So this could affect this transit. You're reinventing yourself. You're starting fresh. You could be changing the structure of something that you do. You could be dreaming a new dream. You could be changing the way that you do a role or a relationship or the way that you see yourself. You could be changing your appearance in some way. You could be healing from a health issue. You could be looking at how you nurture your physical body. And you could be starting fresh, starting over, reinventing, letting go of a role, re-envisioning your identity, re-envisioning your career, thinking of moving your home or shifting something within a relationship. Really, anything can come up for you, Aries. For example, if you started a new romantic relationship and it went to the level of commitment or moving in together, that could change a lot of things in your life, right? And the same is true if we go through a major health challenge or we go through, we might release weight, we might gain weight, we might start our own business, change careers, we might retire. There are so many different ways that this could play out for you. So just know that this is a time that Saturn and Neptune are coming together and they're saying, what does your heart most want? What would bring you more alive? What boundaries in your life need strengthening or softening or releasing, perhaps? And what might Neptune be dissolving for you to create space for something that your heart wants more? Because Neptune rules our vision, our ideal, and our heart's true longing. Is there a heart's true longing that is calling you, Aries? And most likely, if so, it's going to affect a role or your sense of identity. I am. When I say those words, I am, you fill in the blank. How do you see yourself? How do you want to see yourself? What do you want to do, be, or have at this time in your life? That is part of this transit as well. And so let's pull a card for you and see what the cards have to say for you, beautiful Aries. In Aries, I want to say Saturn may slow you down and you like to go fast. That's Aries energy. But if it does slow you down, it's on purpose. It is going to serve you better and it's going to help you to make choices that align best with what your heart truly wants. And your card is the Voyage. I love this card because as you look at it, there is the whale and then the mama or papa whale and then the baby whale. And this card comes up so many times when I pull cards for clients. It's come up a lot for the collective. I think the whales are speaking to us. I think that's one meaning of this card. If you connect to whales, I think the whale song, I think we are going with this Saturn Neptune conjunction in your sign Aries at the 0 point. I believe we are going back to the beginning of time, and the whales are our guardians. They are the leaders of energy. They have wisdom for us. So I think that's one sort of collective reading of this card. But really what this is saying is your inner child, your baby, inner baby, we all have an inner child, right? Is tethered to you, and you are the person that can take care of that part of you. This card really is about self-love. It really is about self-nurturing and knowing that you are on a spiritual voyage. And we don't know. This voyage has twists and turns, and you are a traveler of life. And so allow this voyage to be, even if you don't know the destination, allow yourself to move through this time knowing that you are a spiritual being having a human experience, and that this little inner child of yours is needing your love, your care, and attention. And this will change everything when you attend to the part of you that most needs your love. So beautiful Aries, if anything I shared resonates for you and you want to share in the comments below, I would love to hear. Pisces. Hello, beautiful Pisces. Pisces, now that Saturn and Neptune are almost out of your sign, they are going to enter Aries, re-enter Aries to stay. And I have all the dates and how you can best navigate the energies and more for you in part one of this video. But they are going to be transiting and coming together at that 0 point in your second house of self-love, self-worth, deserving, your values, and also material security, including your own earned income in the sense that you are self-reliant and that you can take care of your own physical material needs. So the second house asks us to do that self-inquiry of what are my values now, and do my life choices or how I've set up my life, do they align with my current values? For you, this may be a time of reflecting on, does anything need to change now that Saturn and Neptune have done their dance in your sign, Pisces, and that is coming to a close, and you may be doing the happy dance because I know that a lot of you have really been through it with Saturn and Neptune in your sign. Now that they're going into Aries, you have been through, I'm hearing cosmic car wash. You have been through the cosmic car wash when they transited through your first house. And now that they're going into your second house, Saturn says we want a solid, sustainable foundation for your material security and or how you value yourself, how much self-worth, self-esteem, self-love do you give yourself? And you could be up leveling that during this transit as well. So Saturn says solid, sustainable foundation. Neptune says, what is your heart's deepest longing? And Neptune may dissolve anything Saturnian for you, any way that you go about doing this area of your life. Neptune may dissolve that if it's not in alignment with who you really are now, Pisces, or Saturn is going to help you to rebuild a new foundation for a new Neptunian dream. And that Neptunian dream will be different for all of you, but it could have to do with a higher sense of self-worth. It could have to do with making more money. It could have to do with ending a job and starting a new job. It could have to do with creating a business or a side gig or another way of earning money. Or maybe some of you will retire. Maybe some of you are recognizing that you have a new purpose. You want to express it in a different way. This could affect any savings you have, or it could be a goal to save. It could be a goal to invest money or reinvest money or reprioritize that. And these kinds of transits often affect our partnerships as well. If we have a romantic partner or a business partner, then those partnerships can be up for negotiation, renegotiation as well. So Pisces, what is it for you? What does your heart most want in the areas of material security and self-love and self-worth? I have a video for you on reparenting yourself, inner child healing that some of you may want to watch. It's on YouTube. It's always linked in my description box below, and it really comes down to tools that I share for enhancing your self-worth. So that may be helpful for you during this transit as well. So I've been shuffling. Let's see what the cards have to say for you, Pisces. And congratulations for moving through the transit of Saturn and Neptune in your sign. And, I don't mean to make it sound like it's been this very difficult thing for a lot of you. It could have been amazingly just a really wonderful transit for you. I know that's different for all of you. Okay, Pisces, your Saturn and Neptune Aries transit card is standstill. Do you feel like you're at a standstill? What I love about this card is actually the watercolor painting. To me, it is very soothing, and you see this water bird, and Pisces, you are a water sign. And I feel like this bird is in repose. I feel like this bird is reflecting. Standstills are not always a quote unquote bad place to be. Standstill can be a pause, right? Sometimes though, our human self is like, no, I want to move forward. I want things to go faster. But with Saturn and Neptune in Aries, Saturn slows the Aries energy down. So if you have been at a standstill and you don't feel like the energy is moving quickly enough, you might want to do something like regular journaling, regular prayer, regular meditation, something that is a spiritual practice for you that will help you move the energy. I love journaling, also automatic writing, which I share with you how I do that in my book, The Magic of Saying Yes. Any kind of getting your feelings out on the page, getting your emotions out on the page, I call it in my book, I call it taking out the garbage, because we have to be able, especially in water energy, and you are a water sign, we have to be able to, release what we're feeling, at least give it a voice and get it out onto the page, onto paper, often before we can feel like we are actually moving forward. So maybe that advice is helpful for some of you. And if anything that I shared does resonate for you and you want to share with me in the comments, I would love to hear. Aquarius. Hello, beautiful Aquarius. Aquarius, you are going to experience the Saturn Neptune conjunction in Aries in your third house of moving and shaking, communication, mindset, your inner narrative, the story that you tell about your life. This is local networking. This is meetings. This is the spontaneous conversations you have when you are waiting in line to, have your groceries tallied up and put into your grocery bags. This is any short trip, like a long weekend or a day trip. Transactions, buying and selling, freelance work, website work, your devices, your vehicles, relationships with siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, neighbors, landlords, mortgage brokers. This is also where we can be writing or speaking or it's all of our emails, it's our everyday transactions. So this is why I call this house the house of moving and shaking. It's everything that it's really the house of communication and our mindset and our dealings with other people. And so a Saturn and Neptune transit here could be lighting you up, because Neptune is your dream, it's your ideal, it's what's going to fulfill you. And Saturn is saying, okay, are you ready to put the hard work in on this? Or something's dissolving, something's leaving your life, Neptune, to make way to create a solid, sustainable foundation underneath what your heart wants now. So both could be happening at the same time. And for you, it could have to do with something that is a communication talent that you have, such as blog writing or writing a book or Maybe you want to start a meetup group, or maybe you are shifting your inner narrative. Maybe you are, the third house is connected to what our belief in ourselves. And what does that translate to? Oftentimes that's when we say, I want to go freelance. I want to do what I love on my own in some way. Maybe you do it on the side. It doesn't mean you necessarily leave your job. Or maybe you're thinking about world travel, or maybe you are thinking about starting a podcast, or broadcasting, or making videos, or maybe you're thinking about changing your location. Maybe you're having some sort of some of you could be healing your relationship with a sibling. Some of you could be having negotiations with a landlord, or trying to get a mortgage to buy a house. Lots of ways this can be playing out for all of you differently, but watch part 1 of the video where I talk about what this transit actually means in Aries, with Saturn and Neptune coming together, because they're an interesting combination, and I tell you why they're an interesting combination in part 1 of this video. So suffice it to say for these readings that there is a new foundation, or a restructuring of a foundation for many of you, that is sort of on, the timing is right for it. How you do all the things that I talked about that fall in this house, how you do that is really what's coming up during this transit. Do you do it in a way that is good for you on all levels in terms of managing your energy? Or do you feel like you're burning out? Or do you feel like you're doing something that just isn't good for you in some way? That's what Saturn's asking, and Neptune's asking, do you still have the same dream, or is there a new dream, or is there a different way you can do this? Or what is your soul longing for now? What is your soul calling for? This is a soul callings kind of transit, and this is what my book is about, The Magic of Saying Yes, Answering Your Heart's True Calling. It is linked in the description box below for those of you who are interested. Aquarius, I want to pull a card for you and see what the cards have to say. For your third house, Saturn and Neptune transit. And Aquarius, when I talk in part 1 about the harmonious energy that's supporting this, part of that harmonious energy is Pluto in your sign. And because you are air, Aquarius, you are getting a lovely sextile from Saturn and Neptune as it is activating your rising sign, that is. So that's very harmonious and helpful to you. Okay, Aquarius, your card. Ooh, I love this card, Purity. I love this card, and I'm going to tell you why. Of course, there's the theme of purification here. I believe that this is validating your purity, Aquarius. I believe that it is saying you have a pure love essence within you, and that you bringing that purity to others in however way you do it, or to yourself, you are and will be reaping the rewards of this transit, Saturn. We put in the hard work, we reap the rewards. What I also love about this card is the blue eye and the green eye of this beautiful, is it a wolf or a fox? I think it's a fox. And there's an otherworldly nature to these eyes, right? And the forest green of these trees, the heart chakra, the green eye, the heart chakra, the blue eye, the throat chakra. And the close-up of this gorgeous furry, I believe it's a fox, it reminds me of the mystical. I think this card is also saying there's a mystical being within you that is pure love. Tap into that part of you. You will get messages. Know that you are pure. Know that you are worthy. Know that you can trust the part of you, the pure part of you, your soul that is giving you the messages you need to reach success and joy in your Saturn-Neptune endeavor. Beautiful, Aquarius. If anything I shared resonates and you want to share in the comments, I would love to hear. Capricorn. Hello, beautiful Capricorn. Capricorn, you are going to have your Saturn-Neptune conjunction and Saturn and Neptune transiting through your fourth house, Neptune will be there for the next 14 years. So the fourth house is, what do you most want in terms of your home, family, childhood conditioning falls here, ancestral healing, and also your relationship to your mother and the mother line. This is the house of belonging, of your sanctuary, of feeling rooted. Rooted, and I'm getting an image of a tree right now, putting its roots deep into the earth, spreading them far and wide. How far do you want your roots to go? That may seem like a strange question, but when our roots are deep and far and wide, wherever you want them to be, that's where you can reap the rewards of your Saturnian hard work. Your Saturnian hard work that is dedicated to your Neptunian dream, right? Your dream, your ideal, your vision, Saturn and Neptune working together. That's the highest octave of this conjunction. So some of you could be doing this inner child healing during this time. Remember, Chiron is also still in Aries. Some of you could be doing ancestral healing. There are videos on YouTube, not on my channel, but other channels. You can search YouTube for videos on ancestral healing that can be quite helpful. And you could be enjoying or healing your relationship with your mother, whether she is on this earthly plane or on the other side. You could be moving. You know, Saturn and Neptune in your fourth house, they have you look at what's good for me, what's not, what needs to go, what do I want to stay, what's sustainable, what isn't, what is leaving perhaps. Some of you could be leaving your home. Some of you could be selling your home. Neptune sometimes says we have to let this go in order to bring in what is best for you. And sometimes we don't know if we're not so connected to our spirit. We don't always know, why something is leaving, and that can be a grief process. And that's not easy. That's very challenging, I know. But this could also be with Saturn transiting through your fourth house with Neptune. It can be you really coming to connection with, deeper connection to your soul. This can be a very spiritual transit for you, Capricorn. Very spiritual. Neptune is the planet of unconditional love, compassion. Maybe you're forgiving someone. Maybe you're forgiving yourself. Maybe you're connecting to the grandmothers of the earth, ancestral, or grandmothers in your physical life. Grandmothers perhaps that are not here anymore. I know I connect a lot with my grandmothers, and I really feel my grandmothers guiding me, and I'm so grateful for their love and support. Some of you could be experiencing that. Or you could say, I want to build a new house. I want to move to a new house. Neptune, my dream. I want to feel a sense of belonging. I want to feel that my roots are deep. And so Saturn will help you build that. Okay, so Capricorn, I'm shuffling for you now. We're going to pull a card for you. Leave me a comment if you want to share how you're feeling this transit now. I talk in part 1 of this video about who's going to feel this transit the most in 2026. And so many other things I share there. I really go deep on this transit, and because you're one of the cardinal signs, you are going to feel this most intensely, and you are getting a square from Saturn and Neptune and Aries to your energy, and that means that you're going to feel this. You're going to feel this when it activates your rising sign or any other planets or points in your sign. It all depends on the degrees, and that is something I can illuminate for you in an astrology consultation. Let us see what the cards have to say for you, Capricorn. Your card is stillness. I love the swan. I love the swan. The purple reminds me of your connection to the divine. The green reminds me of your heart chakra. The swan is your beautiful soul essence. Do you see yourself as a swan? It reminds me of that story too, the ugly duckling, and when the duckling realized it never was a duckling, it was actually a swan. It reminds me of that story as well. Some of you might relate to that. Right now, stillness will bring you closer to the truth of who you are, your gorgeous swan nature. Beautiful Capricorn, if this or anything else I've shared resonates and you want to leave me a comment, I would love to hear. Sagittarius, Sagittarius, beautiful Sagittarius, beautiful Sag. I have no idea how that came out, but I gave it a go. Sag, you are going to experience Saturn and Neptune in your sign, which make a trine to your energy. And trines are the best aspect we can get. It's the wind at your back. It's the fire burning in your belly. It's feeling passionate and ready for a new beginning, a new ideal vision that you're bringing down to earth. These planets, Saturn and Neptune, coming together in a conjunction at the 0 point of Aries, this is happening for you in your 5th house. So the 5th house, I call it the delicious, all the delicious things in life. It brings in, or it is the place where we may encounter when our intentions come to reality, love, romance, children, creative expression, and, fun, pleasure, feeling inspired, feeling lit up, the comforts and joys of life, experiencing those. What's not to love about all of that? Now, when Saturn transits here with Neptune, it is holding us to the work. It's definitely saying you got to do the work. You need to have boundaries. You need some sort of structure. If you want to write a book, or you want to paint paintings, or you want to put a song out into the world, you need to be, have time that you work on that you play, do your, a lot of us don't consider the arts work, it's play, right? But still, we need to create a container of time to do that, for our creativity, to reap the rewards of Saturn. And if we don't do that, then, we tend to not receive what our heart really wants to receive. So Neptune, on the other hand, is your ideal vision, your dream, your soul's deep longing. Some of you may want to have children. Some of you may be in a lover romance right now and be very happy, but others of you may feel like there are ways that doesn't meet what your heart most wants. And so Saturn could be saying you need to set new boundaries, or, Neptune can dissolve boundaries. If we have too many boundaries up, if we're keeping love out of our life because we have too many walls up, Neptune can dissolve those boundaries that Saturn has and open up the doors for you to meet the person that is most aligned with you. So this can go different ways, but because you're getting a trine from this energy, to me, this is the golden ticket. Write your ticket. Write what you want. Put it out into the universe. And know that in divine timing, Neptune, you shall receive from this beautiful trine what your heart most wants, assuming that you are doing all the things, Saturn, to get into the vortex, to feel it, your co-creative abilities, using those to make your vision real. Let us see what the cards have to say for you, beautiful Sag. Sag. Your card is Courage. I love this card. It's very active. There is a big wave here. Have you ever been on the beach or standing on a rock and the big wave comes over and floods the rocks? That's how it is in Laguna Beach, where I used to live, and my favorite part of the beach. I used to go stand on this rock, and the water would come in when the tide was high, and it would just splash all over everything. It would splash me, and I loved it. It was exciting. When I look at this card, I see a lot of creativity up here, and the colors, the green and the orange. This is the orange is our hips. The soul lives in the hips. It's the creativity chakra. And so this card, I think, is saying, lean into any fears. Lean into, allow yourself to, this is a metaphor, the idea of standing on a rock and letting the waves come up and splash all over you, right? That's a metaphor for being bold, being brave, enjoying getting immersed in what words am I looking for? You know what I mean? It's like allowing yourself to get wet, allowing yourself to get messy. It's the Ms. Frizzle quote. Get messy, make mistakes. Okay, now why do I forget this when I need it the most? There's a Ms. Frizzle Magic School Bus quote that I love, which is like, getting messy, make mistakes, and I can't, of course, right now when I need it, I can't think of the last one, and one of you will tell me what it is. But what is she saying in that quote? She's saying, dive in, lean in. You're activating your courage during this transit. It's Aries energy. We have to have courage in Aries energy. We all have it. We need to activate it so that we allow ourselves to do the things that immerse ourselves in what our heart most wants. Take the risk. Take the risk. Take the risk that's needed to meet that person or to open up your heart. Maybe some of your heart's getting cracked open during this transit. It's going to be different for all of you, but this transit says activate your courage. And if there's anything that you want to share with me in the comments, I would love to hear. Scorpio. Hello, beautiful Scorpio. Scorpio, you're going to experience or are already experiencing Saturn and Neptune transiting through your 6th house of daily work routines, health on all levels. This is the house of optimal wellness, your lifestyle, your pets. This house is like our day in and our day out. Structures, routines. In some ways, it's very Saturnian. And of course, this transit is Saturn and Neptune coming together at the 0 Aries point on February 20th, activating something for all of us globally and for us individually. Now, Scorpio, what does your heart most want in your house of daily work routines, health, pets, lifestyle? Do you want to change your lifestyle? Is something going away? When Neptune transits a house, it asks us what is our heart's true longing. But sometimes if we're having a hard Neptune transit, and that's something I can illuminate for you in an astrology consultation. If we're having a difficult challenge with Neptune to any of our planets or points, it can dissolve something, often a part of our ego self, so to speak, a part of our conditioning is being dissolved because we don't need it anymore. We don't need that protection that we needed when we were young. We don't need it anymore. So some part of us is being dissolved, the walls that we had up perhaps, or the dreams that we had that we thought we really wanted, those could be being dissolved because your soul has come so far. You've evolved to a certain place where there are new dreams, or something is maybe boring for you now. Something doesn't light up your heart anymore. It doesn't get your passion going. Scorpio, you're very passionate. You have to be passionate to be happy. So what is it in your daily work or how you're doing your routine life? How much flexibility you have, how much fun you have, the people that you work with. It could be something to do with your health as well. Is everything meeting your level of passion that you want it to, or passion and purpose? Or do you need to change something? So Saturn and Neptune coming together, Saturn says we're setting new boundaries, or we're creating a new solid foundation, or we're loosening the boundaries, we're letting some walls come down. And this is Aries energy. So it is fire, passion, adventure, freedom. A lot more I say in part 1 of this video if you want to know more about this transit. But what is it for you? What does your heart want, and where are you creating a more solid foundation for what your ideal is in these 6 house areas that I just mentioned? Scorpio. I'm going to pull a card for you, and we'll see what your card message is as well. It's a very important transit. Neptune will be here for 14 years. So let's see what the cards have to say for you. Scorpio, and Neptune was in Pisces for a really long time and it trined your energy. Now Neptune is in a fire sign, and this could be a time of redoing something for you. This could be time for a rebirth of what you truly want. Pets may be really up for you right now. You may already have a pet that's that you love, or you could have a pet that you are taking extra care of. Maybe they need some extra attention, or you could be thinking about getting a new pet. Okay, Scorpio, your card is blessings. I love this card. Who doesn't love blessings? Blessings. When I look at this card, I see the Aries energy, the flowers blooming. You know, this is a spring card. This is spring. It says spring all over it, right? Scorpio. But I'm also getting an intuitive hit about this yellow bird that could be a canary. And I feel like this is about the throat chakra. I feel like this is saying, express yourself. Like a beautiful bird in springtime would be singing and just expressing itself. I feel like this card is saying that there are blessings coming to you for sure. For some of you, they're coming this spring in Aries season. And to the extent that you can express your true thoughts, give your heart's desire a voice and enjoy the beauty that is all around you, you are going to reap those blessings and enjoy them that much more, beautiful Scorpio. So anything that I said that resonated, if there was, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear. Libra. Hello, beautiful Libra. Libra, you're going to experience, or are already experiencing, Saturn and Neptune in Aries, your opposite sign, in your 7th house of committed partnerships, committed relationships. This can be any relationship, romantic, business, professional, anyone who has your back, you have their back, and there's a spoken or unspoken agreement to support one another. So Libra, when Saturn transits through the 7th house, Saturn is the taskmaster. It is holding us accountable for something. It could be holding you accountable for doing the work of relationship, for meeting your partner, whether they are a business partner or love partner, or, you know, can be an adult child. It can be a best friend, meeting somebody halfway. There's an element of focus and accountability and boundaries that come through with Saturn. However, Neptune next to Saturn conjunct is also saying we might have to dissolve some boundaries. We might have to let some walls down. We may have to let go of a partnership if it's bringing you disappointment or disillusionment, or there's some deception involved, perhaps. Or it's saying Saturn wanting to help you create a solid, sustainable foundation for a new dream in partnership, perhaps a new vision, a new ideal. It could be that as well. So it will be different for all of you, whether you're in a relationship or whether you want to draw a relationship in to your life. And I highly encourage you, because you're one of the cardinal signs and you are getting an opposition from this transit. We often feel those oppositions in our partnerships, in our relationships. I highly encourage you to watch part 1 of this video where I go through, do a much deeper dive on it, so you can get a sense of what's happening for you. Or, you know, I give you tips on if you're going through anything difficult. Not all of you will. It depends on how you're experiencing the transit. And I also give the degrees of when Saturn and Neptune are transiting in 2026. Will it activate any planets or points in your chart? So Libra, I've been shuffling. Let's see what the cards have to say for you. For your 7th house Saturn Neptune transit. Libra, and we're getting a lot of support, the air signs and the fire signs, during this transit from Pluto and Aquarius, which trines your energy, and Uranus and Gemini, which also trines your energy. So keep that in mind. There's a lot of support for you as well. And your card is Wisdom. What I love about this card, it's the mermaid, and she's doing the deep dive down into this beautiful watery world, very Neptunian. She's seeking a treasure, and within that treasure that she's going to find down here in the depths, there will be wisdom. So there is some wisdom that you will receive when you do a deep dive, metaphorically speaking, maybe in a meditation, maybe through automatic writing, which I teach you how to do in my book, The Magic of Saying Yes, maybe through journaling, regular journaling practice, or a regular spiritual practice. Maybe it is actual diving, but something where, and I do have a meditation that you can receive for free. It's my gift to you when you go to my website and subscribe to my weekly inspirational updates. You can subscribe on my homepage and you will get that instant download. So that would be a good one to do, dive for a treasure. Or I have 3 meditations that you can do on my YouTube channel, and they're always linked in the description box below. If you want to claim your wisdom, beautiful Libra, let us know. Claim it in the comments below. Virgo. Hello, beautiful Virgo. Virgo, you are going to experience Saturn and Neptune coming together in their exact conjunction in Aries on February 20th. You will experience this in the 8th house of power and control, emotional attachments, transformation, death and rebirth, emotional and sexual intimacy, debts, taxes, investments, nest eggs, retirement savings, any long-term financial goal, shared resources where we are coming together with another person, whether it's a romantic partner or a business partner, and we're sharing time, money, or energy. All of these things fall within the 8th house. So when Saturn and Neptune are transiting the 8th house, it's really interesting because Saturn transiting a house usually brings some need for structure, where we have to work harder, where we, nose to the grindstone, where we have to deal with limitations at times or restrictions. We have to jump through hoops of, someone in authority, those kinds of things. But with Neptune, which is the planet of the dream and the ideal vision and your heart's true longing, conjunct Saturn, it can be a different scenario. It can be Neptune saying we have to dissolve a boundary. Maybe you've had too many walls up to a partner. Maybe you have had trouble with intimacy. Maybe you have, detached yourself emotionally, and you guys could be closer if you released some of those. A wall, for example, let a wall down. Or perhaps Saturn is saying it's time to pay more attention to your finances or your, sort of long-term financial goals. And Neptune in Aries can be saying, what you have, we have a dream for more savings, or we have a dream for the kind of relationship that would meet, your emotional, your intimacy needs. So you get the idea. They're meant to work together, Saturn and Neptune, but how they work together, I talk about that in part 1 of this video, Virgo. And, the question really is, what does your heart most want right now in any of these areas that I just mentioned? Financial and partnership. What does your heart most want? That's really the question. And Saturn will help you build a new structure, restructure, or start to create a sustainable foundation. It could be a house. It could be building a house. It could be acquiring a house. It could be selling a house. But Neptune is asking, what does your heart want? And Neptune sometimes requires us to surrender and let go. If something is leaving our life, for example, if you're splitting up assets with someone, if a relationship is ending, Saturn will require us to do that work so that we can make space for the dream that Neptune wants to bring in. And sometimes that means something gets dissolved before something new can be structured and given to you. So let us pull a card for you now, Virgo, and see what the cards have to say. Virgo. Trust. Trust is such a key word for the 8th house. It really is. The 8th house is about truth, knowing your truth, setting boundaries, or, enforcing your boundaries, knowing who you can trust and who you can't. And how do we know who we can trust? It comes from our own trust of ourselves, right? Self-trust. So I love this card because it's saying you may feel like you are a canoe in the darkness. You're moving through a passage with just the light of the crescent moon. But notice how beautiful it is. There's this beautiful tropical, feels like you're in the tropical air, the palm tree, the sandy beach, and moving through on a canoe. It's very peaceful. It's very peaceful. This card is saying, trust the process so that you can have peace, whatever is happening. Beautiful Virgo, if you want to claim your trust or share anything that resonated in this reading, I would love to hear. Leave me a comment. Leo, hello, beautiful Leo. Leo, you are getting a lovely trine from Aries energy. Saturn and Neptune coming together at the 0 point on February 20th, you are getting this lovely trine energy, the wind at your back, the fire burning in your belly, in your 9th house of expansion, Leo. Are you ready to expand? Expansion can be so many different things. It can be taking a course, it can be getting a degree, um, leaning into your mystical seeking kind of quest, reading a bunch of books, learning about astrology, exploration, metaphysical exploration. It can be having a new adventure. It can be traveling to other countries. It can be uh, receiving justice, feeling like justice is being done, karma is playing out, and you are being made whole again. It can be that. Spiritual belief systems, leaving behind an oppressive belief system, or really coming to enlightenment about your own what you believe now. It can be sharing your truth, broadcasting, podcasting, videos, publishing a book. So there are a lot of different possibilities, but big picture, this transit is supporting you to expand, it's supporting you to grow, it's supporting you to share your truth, it's supporting you to share your enthusiasm, the root of that being entheos, sharing your joy, your optimism, your hope, all 9th house themes. Let's see what the cards have to say for you, because after all, it is Saturn and Neptune together. And so some of you may be trying to get a visa. Some of you may be jumping through hoops so that you can go live in another country. Some of you could be looking at different learning programs, degree programs, certification programs. That's Saturn. Saturn is a structure. Neptune says, what does your heart most want? What is something could be dissolving and leaving. That's part of Neptune too at times. Or Neptune can be asking, what does your heart most want? Let's put some structure to that, Saturn. I go much deeper into all of the possible meanings of this conjunction in part 1 of this video. Leo, let's see what your card is. Leo. Leadership. I mean, Leo, you are connected to leadership. Aries is connected to leadership. The fire signs have the ability to inspire others. And what I love about this card is it's very ephemeral with the sky and the stars. And, it's definitely saying, look up to the stars and know that you are part of this vast galaxy of mystical presence. But there's also a bear here. If you look closely, you can see this bear. It almost seems like the bear is coming out of nowhere, right? There's an ephemeral nature to this card that's very Neptunian. And I get this feeling with the movement in this card. There's a lot of movement with the bear and the movement here with these strokes of very ephemeral clouds. And I get the feeling of this card is saying you are moving into leadership. And leadership isn't necessarily a political office. It's not necessarily the, CEO of a company. It's not necessarily being on a board. It can be you stepping into seeing yourself as a leader, seeing yourself as someone who can guide others in some way. It can be guiding your children, it can be guiding family, it can be guiding through a podcast. A lot of different ways, but if you want to claim your leadership, or tell us what you're seeing in this card in the comments below, Leo, I'd love to hear. Cancer. Hello, beautiful Cancer. Cancer, I have my moon and rising in Cancer. And you are going to experience this transit of Saturn and Neptune coming together exactly at 0 degrees of Aries in your 10th house. Your 10th house of career, legacy, life purpose expressed, retirement or semi-retirement, how you spend your time. This can be a profession, it can be a vocation. A lot of times it is a vocation, meaning it's what we're passionate about. But other times it's maybe not your passion, but it is something that you put a lot of hard work, time, and energy into, and you get paid well, and you like the security that it brings to you. And so Cancer, when we have Saturn in Aries conjunct Neptune in Aries, Saturn is saying, is this still right for you? Is this still a solid, sustainable foundation for you? And Neptune is saying, does this still light you up? Is this in alignment with your soul? If it's not in alignment with who you are now as a result of your soul's evolution up to this point, Neptune could dissolve that and create space for something new. Because Neptune doesn't play around. If something is no longer in alignment with us, if we are meant to shed a skin, if we are meant to release something that has been disappointing or disillusioning, or it just doesn't hold any passion for us or any, and if we're not getting enough back from what we're putting in, Neptune can dissolve that to create space for something new, or it can dissolve some boundaries that Saturn has set, that your own inner Saturn has set, that maybe walls come down or requirements that you had. For example, you may not be happy where you are, but you're not looking for another job because you like the amount of money that you're making. You don't want to take a pay cut. And yet Neptune is saying, but I'd really love to do this or that, even if it means we make less money. You could be in one of those situations where you're trying to see, is this still the right place for me? Or maybe you are ready now. Neptune and Aries, maybe you're ready now to really follow your soul, really follow your heart, and do something different. That could be true now. Or you're ready to retire, you're ready to semi-retire, or you're ready to maybe the way you do your work isn't sustainable anymore in some way. Maybe you're burnt out. Maybe you work too hard at one or more things that just aren't feeding you. That could be it too. Cancer, let's see what the cards have to say for you. Really, Saturn and Neptune are coming together in Aries saying, it's time to, come on, baby, light my fire. It's like that. Come on, baby. Okay, you get the idea. Cancer, your card. Okay. Opportunity, yes. Opportunity. Now, Cancer, you get a square to your energy from this transit. Squares are tension and pressure at times that then get us into action and moving. So there's an opportunity for you. I love all the purple in this card because it really reminds me of the Neptunian energy, purple being the crown chakra, being connected to your divine source. So this card is saying there's an opportunity for you. It may be hard to see if you're focused on, the trees rather than the whole forest, but you can see this moon has a face on it. This crescent moon has a face on it and it wants to talk to you. So maybe you tune into the moon, you talk to the moon. Find out what the moon has to say to you, the moon goddess. Very Neptunian, the idea of speaking to the stars, right? Tapping into your divine guidance through some sort of connection with the stars, being in nature, walking through the forest, talking to the fairies. There's something that wants to be said. There's a message here, the blue being the throat chakra. There is a transmission, I feel, from the divine to you that is going to bring you an opportunity. And I really encourage you to take time. I know it's hard to make time, especially with the energies moving so quickly now and changes. It's challenging to take the time to reflect. But if you're not 100% aligned with what you do now in your 10th house of the things that I mentioned, how you spend your time, your work, etc., then taking time to tune into the stars, talking to the moon, talking to your guides will illuminate an opportunity for you, beautiful Cancer. And if you want to claim your opportunity in the comments below or share with us what you think that might be, let us know. I'd love to hear. Gemini. Hello, beautiful Gemini. I have my natal sun in Gemini. And those of you who are Gemini risings are going to experience this transit of Saturn and Neptune in Aries, which makes a beautiful, harmonious sextile to your energy in your 11th house. So sextiles are opportunities and solutions that come when we take the initiative, we make the call, we get the idea, we follow through on it, we do something to basically it's like I'm getting an image of the golden ring. Have you ever been on a merry-go-round where there's a golden ring and they slide, there's like an arm that the golden rings get threaded through the arm, and you kind of, on your merry-go-round horse, you like lean out and you grab that golden ring and you get it. Have you ever done that? It's so fun. My parents used to take us to the San Diego, trying to think what it was. It was this, it's a merry-go-round in San Diego, but now I'm forgetting exactly where. But anyway, it's in this big garden space, public garden kind of space. And that was so much fun. And so there's a golden ring for you, beautiful gem, that is on offer, metaphorically speaking, when you reach for it. When you reach for it. So what area are you going to be feeling Saturn and Neptune coming together, helping you to create a new vision, or to put legs to something that you really want, or to release something that's not working for you anymore? In your house, the 11th house is friendships, it's supporters, online platforms, social media platforms where you put something, you share what you do, or what can be branding or promoting a project or something new. This is, most importantly, the 11th house is asking you, what is your dream? What would fulfill you now? It's a time that we're really meant to reflect and get clear on what our heart most wants. It's the beginning of a new cycle, a new manifestational cycle for you, Gemini. And because it's so harmonious with your energy, chances are that what you want, it's going to come more easily than if you were having a more difficult transit. So what is your vision? What are you willing to put the work in on? Because that's Saturn. And leaning into the divine, Neptune, leaning into your divine source, bringing down unconditional love, allowing Neptune to speak to you, to spark your passion. The 11th house is a great house to be really allowing yourself to feel sparked by passion. That's Aries energy. Most gems know Aries energy very well. We do well with Aries energy. The only thing is, both Gemini and Aries can be impatient. And with Saturn in Aries, we may have to wait a little bit longer for our dream to come to fruition, because Saturn slows Aries down. But I think that's a good thing, because then we really get a sense of, is this truly, truly what I want in my heart of hearts? So let's see what the cards have to say for you, beautiful gem, for your Saturn conjunct Neptune transit in Aries. Your card is miracles. Yes. I'm claiming this too. If you want to claim your miracle in the comments below, claim it, beautiful gem. What I love about this card is the rainbow. And whenever I see this card, there are two rainbows. This is a double rainbow. Whenever I see this card, it always reminds me of the red rocks of Sedona. Always reminds me of that. And that area really has spoken to me when I've been there. I've only been there once, but we spent several days there, and I got up really early in the morning and I went out before dawn. My daughter was a teenager, was with me, and she wanted to sleep in. So I took advantage of that, and I went early in the morning, and it just made me cry. I was so moved by those red rocks and the quietness of the space. I was so moved. I would just get up and I would just get out there, and something that looked like this, and I would just cry because I was so moved. So I don't know why I'm telling you this story, but maybe some of you need to hear that. Maybe you need to take a sojourn. Maybe you need to give yourself permission to commune with nature in a place that you haven't been, a place that would bring awe to your spirit and allow you to have some sort of release that is going to make you feel that much closer to the divine. That's what I get from this card: closeness to the divine. Miracles. A miracle, when we're close to the divine, we're much more likely to spot a miracle, right, Gem? If you want to claim your miracle, or anything else you want to share in the comments, I would love to hear. Taurus. Hello, beautiful Taurus. Taurus, you are going to experience Saturn and Neptune conjoining, coming together exactly at the 0 point of Aries in your 12th house. In your 12th house, beautiful Taurus. So this is saying, when we've got Saturn going through the 12th house, it asks, so do you have a spiritual practice? Are you doing a regular something, meditation, journaling, automatic writing, breath work, walking in nature, something that connects you to the divine? That's part of this transit. The other part is, what does your heart most want? Neptune, after all, is connected to the divine realms. The 12th house is connected to the divine realms. The 12th house is, yes, reprogramming the subconscious mind if that's needed. It can be where we are faced with self-doubt and fear, and we need to metabolize that, process those feelings. But it's also a mystical awakening for some of you, astral travel, otherworldly kinds of experiences. It is the ethereal realms. When Neptune transits your 12th house, oh my gosh, what a spiritual transit that is. What a time to release anything, any conditioning, any walls, anything that has gotten in the way of you feeling at one with your soul. This transit really helps with that. And especially if you have a spiritual practice, there are more synchronicities and magical moments and signs that you can experience deep dreaming, night dreams, getting messages in your dreams, divine downloads, angelic visitations, channeling, really seeing your clairs, claircognizance, clairvoyance, all of the different ways that you can get in touch, your spiritual powers. Some of you may want to do channeling if you haven't done channeling through automatic writing. I teach you how to do that in my book, The Magic of Saying Yes, or more meditations you can channel through, receiving Reiki or doing Reiki sessions. Become a medium, take a course on whatever interests you. When we do Reiki, we're channeling divine love. You can sit in meditation and receive the unconditional love from the divine. I imagine it coming through my crown and moving through all my chakras. Lots of different ways to do these things, but you could have quite the spiritual awakening. You could be a different person after this transit of Neptune going through your 12th house, Taurus. It is that profound. So that said, let us see what the cards have to say for you. And do you have a, Neptune and Saturn together saying, what is your dream now? What does your heart most want? In the 12th house, we can have deep longings that we become aware of during a transit like this. And they're longings that we can heal from. We can release tears. We can shed a skin, and it can all happen through some spiritual practice or practices that make it quite healing on a very deep level. So I've been shuffling. Let's see what the cards have to say for you, Taurus. For your 12th house, Neptune and Saturn coming together in Aries, saying, fresh start, new beginning. What does your heart most want now? And your card is security. Well, Taurus, you are known for material security. And this card is security. And really what this card is saying, it's taking us back to the simple things in life, right? A campfire, making a fire. It's taking us back to, if you look closely at this card, you can see there's cave drawings. And the stars, and looking up at the stars, sitting by a fire, looking up at the stars. The simplicity of that, but also the deep joy and the deep nurturing of that. This card is really saying security comes from within, and that's a tall order for humans. One of the things about your sign, Taurus, is that material things give you a sense of security, and they do for all of us, but Taurus is sort of known for that. You came into this lifetime knowing that you could be self-reliant and that you would be able to meet your financial needs. This card may be saying it's time to go to the next level and know that all of your needs are met, because that security is coming from within you, your gifts, your talents, your strengths. The next level of knowing that you are the security you seek, maybe self-love, maybe deserving, maybe self-worth, taking that to the next level. If you want to claim your security in the comments below, or share whatever you see in this card, Taurus, I would love to hear. My beautiful friend, thank you so much for joining me for this Saturn Neptune in Aries video. Thank you for liking this video. Thank you for sharing it. Thank you for leaving a comment, for subscribing to the channel. When you support this video through subscribing, you make a huge difference. Not only give back to the channel, but also allow this video to go out to more people who love astrology. If you'd like to do an astrology consultation with me, go to my website, check out the testimonials that other clients have shared after working together. I'm offering 2026 year ahead readings, also a natal chart, heart's desire, life purpose, relationship harmony, and 90-minute astrology consultations for those of you who want more time to hone in on something that is very important to your heart right now. The links to my astrology and coaching pages. I also offer clarity coaching sessions. The links to both pages where you can book directly on my website are in the description box below. And I have a free gift for you. That free gift is a soothing guided meditation connecting you to your spiritual guidance, to unconditional love, to receiving a gift from your guides. If you would like to download that for free, go to my website, subscribe for free to my weekly inspirational astrology updates. You'll get the astrology between videos direct to your inbox before those updates go out on social media. And you will get your free instant download guided meditation at the same time. My beautiful friend, let me know how you are feeling about Saturn and Neptune coming together in Aries in the comments below. And until my next video, I'm sending you all my love.